Solve the growing tensions with Russia and Ukraine diplomatically.
We knew we had to wait for the rain to begin, and indeed it has. Eventually, it'll turn into freezing rain, sleet, and even snow. The latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Also, why global warming is lowering the number of cities available to host future Winter Olympics.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
First with rain, then sleet, and finally snow. A winter storm is moving into the 4 states. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach, topping our first 7 minutes. It's not a matter of if, but when this weather is going to turn nasty. KOAM's Michael Hayslip has been tracking the storm and joins us with the latest.
So, Tanya, 2 key factors at play. Number 1, we're going to wait for the temperatures to drop up to the north. But number 2, we knew we were going to start with rain. Well, we've got one of the 2 so far, but you have to remember, the worst of this is really not going to hit till about, say, 10, 11 o'clock tonight into midnight, making Wednesday morning more treacherous. And that's the key factor, is our timing. We've seen temperatures slip down to the low 50s, 49 there in Yates Center. Now compare that to the 60s that we're seeing down to the south. So the cold front portion of it, very slow moving. But here's the key factor. We know we've got enough moisture in the air right now as we see the rain dominating the northern portion of the 4 states. Just talked to some boots in the ground on Fort Scott coming down Highway 69. We know we've got substantial rain there, and this is eventually going to move down to the south-southeast, and it's going to follow the cold front. That's our combination of what we're going to have collide. So the winter storm warning, and the big change from this morning is we've now included northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas as part of that winter storm warning. Earlier, those were watches. Everybody throughout southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri was already in the midst of that warning. But you'll also notice, too, that expiration time lasts all the way until Friday. So for this afternoon, we're just going to have to deal with the rain. That's not too bad, but here we go. You can tell the cold front sets in shortly after sunset, and down, down, down we go. And once we get below the freezing temperatures, it really is that dividing line right there where we see the pink pop up. That's what Tanya was alluding to with the freezing rain and the sleet, because our timing of this as we push toward midnight dominates 49 and 44, our major thoroughfares right there, which is why I want everybody on their toes for tomorrow morning. Now, up to the north, we see the transitional phase earlier. That's going to be the snow. Down to the south stays as rain, but everything pushes down to the southeast, and after we get that amount of snow, we get a break, and then we revamp. Look at that time frame, all the way from Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So when we talk about our accumulation numbers, these are pretty impressive. It's been a while since we've seen anything like this, and really, the models have been so consistent, we're not backing off any of those numbers. Had a nice conversation with Doug this morning. He said, yeah, it's staying consistent. Let's roll with that. And then our overnight lows plummet down to single digits. Coming up here in just a little bit, Tanya, we'll talk about the effects of that for our Wednesday travel. And also, too, you're going to want to get everything done today because that snow is going to stick around to the weekend.
There you go. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, a school bus driver in Webb City wards off an attempted assault. School district officials say an individual made his way onto the high school parking lot this morning. We're told the man left his vehicle and approached the school bus. He then broke a bus window in an attempt to assault the driver. The suspect did not get on the bus and was arrested. Students were still on the bus during this time, and school district officials say the bus driver handled the situation well, kept students safe, and is in good spirits. Well, a 72-year-old man from Ohio was killed after a 2-vehicle crash just east of Miami on Interstate 44 overnight. It happened at mile marker 322.5 westbound at 10:22 p.m. Troopers say 72-year-old William Arthrell was traveling east when he made an illegal turn through the barrier wall opening, pulling in front of a truck. Arthrell was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the truck was not injured. The Biden administration says it is looking for a diplomatic solution to avoid a Russian invasion of Ukraine. A series of high-level talks are set for today. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on the phone today, urging Russia to withdraw troops and equipment from Ukraine's borders, and emphasizing invasion of Ukraine would be met with severe consequences.
It is our goal in all of this to attempt to influence Moscow's decision-making and Moscow's calculus.
The U.S. says Russian President Vladimir Putin is deciding his next move as Russia continues to increase its military buildup with more than 100,000 forces now circling Ukraine, including in nearby Belarus.
These are combined arms capable forces. So it's not just infantry, for instance, it's artillery, it's air defense. He's got a full range of military capabilities available to him.
The State Department has issued a travel advisory to Belarus and ordered family members of U.S. government employees to leave the country. Family members of embassy personnel in Ukraine were ordered out over the weekend. CBS News has learned that after consulting with Ukraine leaders, President Biden is prepared to announce a new U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. President Biden will ask Congress to swiftly approve Bridget Brink to be the ambassador in Kyiv. Congress is also working on a bipartisan bill to put new sanctions on Russia.
I hope that we can find a solid bipartisan approach. I hope that we're moving forward with sanctions now, not after the Russians invade.
There are also sanctions being drawn up which could be used if Russia does attack. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
President Biden has said that Russia derives much of its money from exporting natural gas to Europe and hinted that an invasion of Ukraine could cost new sanctions, which would cripple its exports. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, why experts say global warming is threatening the future of the Winter Olympics. And later, we're making an easy cheeseburger ring in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Experts say global warming is threatening the future of the Winter Olympics as cities cannot stay cold enough to host the games. Beijing is racing to get venues ready with an army of snow machines. CBS's Tina Kraus reports.
Team USA snowboarder Taylor Gold normally shreds fresh powder in Colorado. But in Beijing, it'll be a different ride.
It makes me sad that we need so much man-made snow to sustain winter sports.
China has rolled out more than 100 snow machines that will use an estimated 49 million gallons of water to get venues in shape for competition. For the first time in Olympic history, athletes will compete on 100% artificial snow. But keeping venues covered has been a challenge for years.
In the Sochi Games, the halfpipe was melting while we were competing on it. They were spraying some chemicals on it to try to get it to stay in shape.
Experts say by 2050, just 10 of the 19 past Winter Olympic cities will have suitable climates to sustain the Games.
A lot of them are getting really, really warm, not just really warm, but really warm really quickly,
forcing organizers and athletes to adapt.
The snow is actually really amazing, the man-made stuff. You have to be really aggressive with how you ride.
And scientists say only aggressive climate action can keep the winter in Winter Olympics.
Well, back in 2010 at the Winter Olympics in Vancouver, helicopters were used to ship in snow from high altitudes as it was too warm to make fake snow. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Great recipes never go out of style, and that's definitely the case with what we're making today. And good news, it's budget friendly too.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
After coming off of a abnormally dry January, we're going to make up for it here in early February. The only thing is, I tell you what, I wish we would have spread that out a little bit more instead of having to deal with the freezing rain and snow that we're going to be encountering here for seemingly the next 36 to 48 hours. You can tell the definitive line of the cold front as it pushes through now to the southeast of the Wichita, Kansas City line. Haven't seen a huge drop in our temperatures though. It's actually been a very pleasant Tuesday morning, first day of February. Who can complain when you're sitting at 57 degrees at the noon hour in February, and all of a sudden Mother Nature decides she needs to rip the carpet out from under us as we see the winds begin to shift up there to the northwest. Still not too blustery, that's not too bad, but that's an indicator Remember, the shift in the wind is going to precede our temperature dropping. As we stand right now, like I said, 57 in both Joplin and in Carthage, still holding on to 63 in Miami. Really the only place that we even see in the high 40s up there in Yates Center, and that's at 49. So it's almost like we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Here's where we stand on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, because we knew the rain would precede the freezing rain, the sleet, the snow, etc. And here we are, as it continues to gather and grow, and not a whole lot of movement in it. We do see a little bit of it pushing to the east, but it's been rather steady, especially along Highway 69 and Highway 49. So if you've got to make the trip up to Kansas City, got multiple texts and phone calls later this morning from people going up to Elton John. Now here's the thing about the Elton John concert, because I know now there's a ton of you going up to see that. You're going to be fine getting up there. You're going to encounter rain. But with it starting at about 8 o'clock, shouldn't have any problems getting there. It's the getting back that I want everybody to take into consideration, because when we put future track in motion, we'll break down our timeline. Look at the precipitable water that we've seen. It was cut off here this morning, now making its way all the way to the Great Lakes. So that shows you the atmosphere is ripe. When that cold front hits, that all that water, it's got to go someplace. And that jet stream that gave us the warm temperatures yesterday, almost 70 degrees at Joplin Regional Airport. The ridge now pushing all the way over Pennsylvania, as we've got the big trough that's going to push in over the Pacific and bring us just nasty winter weather here all the way until Friday. Our weather trend, the cold front begins to drop here at about 6 p.m. So wait until about sunset. And once again, if you're waiting for it and you're not paying attention to the temperature, just walk outside. As soon as that wind shifts, it means it's headed to your neck of the woods, resulting in winter storm warnings that actually last just east of the Rockies all the way right now to the Great Lakes. So this is going to be an impressive Midwest storm. After our rain, we get, like I said, after sunset, for those of you up to the north, this is why we were talking about if you're up in KC, no trouble getting there, it's getting home on 49 and 69. That is going to be extremely problematic with what you're going to have up until the midnight hour. And as we get to midnight, we see the freezing rain drop down. Now we're dominating 44, 49, and 69 all throughout the nighttime hours. And so when you get up, and if you have to work tomorrow, please know that overnight, with our temperatures dropping, yes, our ground nice and warm now, but it drops so low that it's going to be able to actually grab that ice and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And our road crews do a marvelous job. I realize that, but at some point in time, sometimes Mother Nature wins. And as the snow continues to roll through all the way from Wednesday night into Thursday morning, our temperatures absolutely plummet. Let's start with our snow amounts, as we're looking at anywhere from, say, 6 to 8 inches in the Pittsburgh-Joplin area. We could see isolated patches of 10 inches. Get below I-44, let's go 5 to 8. Get up to the northeastern portion on the east side of 49, 9 to 13 inches. Here's why it's not going anywhere. Watch these temperatures and these wind chill numbers. There we are for tomorrow morning. There we are for tomorrow night. There we are for Thursday morning. Layers, layers, and layers.
Yeah.
Historical aspect, Tanya, I had to go back. It was 2 Februaries ago where we actually had wind chills that dropped down to about 15 below. So it's not only the snow, but 2 years since we were this cold.
And those temperatures are going to stay low for a little while too, so bundle up. All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4th state hero, Private First Class Fred Hall in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Goodman, Missouri, joined the 103rd Infantry Division, 345th Engineer Regiment in 1942. He fought in Italy and in Sicily, earning 2 Bronze Stars and the Meritorious Service Unit plaque. To Private First Class Fred Hall, we thank you, our 4th state hero. Looking for a fun new dish to serve at this year's Super Bowl party? Today, Howard shows us how to make an easy cheeseburger ring in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
Today, I'd like to reintroduce you to a recipe that's become so popular over the years. I thought it was about time I shared it with you again. It's one of those meals everyone will be asking for over and over again. And since it's easy, tasty, and budget-friendly, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to try it. We start by cooking ground beef with a chopped onion until the meat is browned and it's well crumbled. After draining off the drippings, we add some ketchup, mustard, cheddar cheese, and a little salt and pepper. After letting this cook for a few minutes, we take it off the heat, and while it cools slightly, we arrange a package of refrigerated crescent roll dough into a sunburst shape, like this. Now we spoon the meat onto this and fold the tips of the dough over it. Once it's looking picture perfect, it's time to pop it in the oven until it's golden brown. And just like you would with any cheeseburger, go ahead and dress it up with all of your favorite go-alongs. Whether you serve this as an easy weeknight dinner or put it out when you're rooting for your favorite team, it's always welcome. To get the recipe for what we call our easy cheeseburger ring, simply visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an easy, cheesy, beefy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Fun way to do cheeseburgers. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Roll through the night with rainfall that will turn into freezing rain and sleet for late tonight. Then as we get into midnight, aka Wednesday morning, look at this mess we got on our hands, and then the snow just keeps on coming down. Here's our estimated snow amounts before we get out of here. Looking at anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. Remember, that's a combo of sleet and snow. 9 to 13 inches in the northeastern portion of the 4 states.
We said it's not if it's coming, it's when it's coming.
Right. It's a-coming.
It's coming. Well, tonight at 5, residents in the 4 states, we've got tips to help you prepare for the winter weather. We're going to hear from a driving instructor on how to properly drive on icy road conditions. We know it can be a challenge. Plus, a local mechanic shares tips to get your vehicle ready for driving on snow and ice. And a new tool to help fight COVID-19 could soon be submitted for FDA approval. Regulators are pushing Pfizer to apply for emergency use authorization for a vaccine designed for children under 5. We'll have the latest coming up in Health Watch. Join us for those stories and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 5.
I want to thank you all for joining us here at the KOAM News at noon. Tanya and I will see you again tomorrow morning.
And the rest of the team will see you right back here at 5 o'clock.